Like, that would be the dream if I were him. So I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying that will make you be the absolute best you can be, I would imagine.
You did hate on him. You said C9 would be better with Froggen, no?
I still think it.
You still think, with this performance that Nisqy has shown, that Froggen would be better on C9?
I literally just explained why. So if you can't see that Froggen doesn't have any of those things, then there's no point having the discussion, Loco. Like, if you can't see that there's a difference between the setup of the two teams.
I think there is setup, but I think Nisqy and Froggen are so different, and the element that Nisqy brings and the synergy that Nisqy and Sven.
Loco, I'm fully aware that you literally halfway through this summer split had Bjergsen as your best mid laner at a time he himself was playing like shit. His team was falling apart, and when Froggen had appalling players for teammates. So in your mind, you're worse than Kelsey Moser because you think that literally, you literally have on Golden Guardians 0 top players, and yet they're beating top teams, challenging for playoffs, making it a top 4. It's almost like, how's that possible by your logic? They're not good at macro. They have no fucking coaching. They have 0 factors in your mind. You failed the analysis on that one, Loco.
I'll give Froggen credit, and I think it's untrue.
And Haunter.
And I think,
some to Haunter as well.
Yeah, okay. And, well, you can't say they have 0 top players other than Froggen, and then
they have 2 players.
They have 2 top tier players, so I'll give credit to Haunter and Froggen. And I will also say I overrated Bjergsen on that point. Maybe he should have been a little bit lower, but one thing that always gets like kind of thrown out is that was the week before the TF games, and that was before the worst 4-week stretch. So Bjergsen was still a top tier mid. There was a 4-week stretch where Bjergsen just died, and like a corpse of Bjergsen started playing for him instead. But the point I want to go back on is, if Froggen replaced Nisqy, is Froggen would never have the kind of synergy and never have kind of the strengths that Nisqy has with Svenskeren. They would be a different kind of team altogether, and I think it's ludicrous to say that team could win where this C9 got so far and they're getting so much out of Nisqy Svenskeren. It would just be a different version of Cloud9, and I just don't think that version of Cloud9 would have all these kind of strengths and would go to finals like this.
This is one split, mate. We'll see in the future. We'll see how Nisqy does in 2 years. Froggen's been playing since like fucking 2012, mate. It's 2019 now, and he's still a relevant player being voted on all polls.
He's definitely very relevant.
I kind of agree with Loco a bit, honestly.
You can do that if you want.
The way that team will go, like, I mean, yeah, one thing that Froggen's going to do is, like, he's going to carry when he gets to play his champions, for sure. So I think Reaper could figure out a draft to do that. The only thing is, his playstyle is at a sacrifice to his team, where, like, I'm going to carry on Karthus or Victor or Anivia, and you guys won't have any, like, mid-pressure all game. So playing against, like, a top team and only being able to opt into that strategy, I think is going to be really hard. So I think that's where I would see the problem with Froggen on C9.
The last statement I'll make on this topic is, first of all, Svenskeren is Danish, so you'd have a Danish mid and jungle. They could literally have like conversations that nobody else could have. Like, Nisqy can't do it. He's fucking Belgian, mate. Which I know for you is like, isn't that the same country? Like, shut the fuck up. Anyway,
I didn't say that.
I mean, so you think Froggen's going to be like, I'm playing Anivia,
this is the straw man episode, Loco. You don't get to be a real person on this. You are just an avatar for Reddit. Like, they download into your body and then like just engage with us, like in Matrix 2.
I've been at war with Reddit, so that's ironic, but go ahead.
So anyway, no, the point, this is the point I would make. Like, when you say that there, I have no doubt if you had Froggen on this team, they would play through him and Svenskeren would heavily play around his lanes. So I think they'd have mad mid priority. I mean, am I missing something? Does he farm that?
If you play like Anivia, Victor, Karthus, like, so if he played his, obviously, if his champion pool changed, like if he plays, if he gets the counter pick right, Vel'Koz is kind of an aggressive counter. I'd say like Victor, Anivia, Karthus, like, aren't really aggressive counter picks. They're counter picks, but not really to do stuff. It's to farm and to beat them later in the game. So I think they could, but if you want to play through mid with those picks, you need to be really much higher level than the enemy mid jungle. Because if the enemy mid jungle is playing like something really simple, Aurelia Sejuani, or they're playing like Gragas Kiana, Gragas Yasuo, like, they're gonna win that 2v2 always.
Can I ask you something? In scrims, does Froggen pick things he doesn't pick on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's one of the things that does my head in about Locodoco. Okay. One of the things I know about Froggen and his mentality in the game is, this is a bad mentality in some senses, but it makes a lot of sense. He's the basketball player who, if he's the star player and you're a bad teammate, he's not going to give you the ball as many times as he'll give the other guy. Because his logic is like, why am I going to pass to you so you can miss? So Froggen's logic, I know from talking to him over the years, is he himself, this is the reason why if he plays solo queue, he plays everything. Because he actually does think he can play loads of champions that are other one. Like, for example, in Echo Fox, he used to play Echo the Champion on fucking solo queue all the time. Like, he'd play all sorts of stuff that you'd never see him play in a game in theory, right? His logic would be this. Now, he's never going to admit this because how can you trash your teammates as a fucking player on the team or the franchise player? But basically, if you have the teammates Froggen has now, what I think he would argue would go like this. It's like, why am I going to pick like an assassin when if I then get my ship pushed in or I fuck up like one early dive, game's over? Like I had like our chance to win was I have to let the other lanes do what they do, and then if they don't win the game and then it goes to the late game, I'll carry on the champions that I always traditionally carry on like that. Like to him, that's like the most logical way.
I wish he did that more.
So the point is, if he was in Cloud9, I guarantee you, mate, he'd be playing way more. He'd have way more like TF games. He'd have way more. You already saw he tried to bring out talent. I think he would play a lot more of those champions. Now, listen, he's never going to play them like fucking. I don't know about Bjergsen because Bjergsen's become a lot more like Froggen over the years, but he's never going to play them like Caps, obviously. He's never going to do that. That's totally against his philosophy. But he would play a pressure style with these champions. Like he'd be like half Froggen, half meta, basically. I guarantee it. It just might never be in that team, so maybe we can never see it.
I'll agree with that. Like, he could probably play them, especially for the first, like, 10 minutes of the game. But, like, I still have never seen him aggressively play a side lane really well. So, and I know that's, like, a really hard concept to grasp with these assassins, because the playstyle is so different. It's not like, I'm going to push out a side wave and then, like, play Corki and I can hit tower. It's like,
unfortunately, he has always been on teams that were group team fight teams. I agree with that.
Yeah, so, I mean, so I understand, like, if this is his champion pool, because this is the way he thinks I can win the game is only with these champions. I understand he probably has more that I don't know about. But like, yeah, if I threw an assassin at some other mid laners, like I could be very comfortable. Like, we're going to play out the game well correctly. I don't have to do much as a coach. I think if I coach Froggen right now and he let me into his secrets about all the champion pool he plays and like all his styles and like all his thoughts, I still think I would have to coach him into side lane pressure. He wouldn't just be plug and play great mid laner. He'd be plug and play great mid laner for 4-1, and then we have to teach you how to play 1-3-1, or you have to learn how to play side lane well.
Right, what I'll say is this, look, anyway, to bring it back to the actual relevant topic, I noticed when Bjergsen's absolutely shit in the bed and not even relevant, you have to switch it to fucking Froggen all of a sudden because you can't defend your own position. That's one of the things. I said this on Twitter, Loco, and it's totally accurate. I said it on the last episode, the worst thing about you is this, Loco. I can take my lumps. Like when Froggen does badly, I can just say, yeah, he's not doing well this split. What you do is, you and TSM, the org, both do this. You just got fucking ass pinned whenever you do badly. So you talk all that good buku shit 1 second after you won your first LCS split. Instead of being off popping Domper and Yon, you're tweeting at me on Twitter, mate. Like the difference is when you're winning, that's a fact. Go look up the timestamp. When you're winning, you love talking shit. You can't handle it when you lose, though. I can actually have an interesting discussion when I lose in that scenario. So what I'll say is this, I'll tie it back in.
Okay.
My point is, yes, if I look at this split and playing for this C9, and bearing in mind I haven't seen Froggen play, Nisqy was overall better because I have already seen what he did. I know what he did. I'm having to speculate what Froggen would do. I never said that he would have done exactly this. I said if you reset the split and put Froggen there, I believe he would have been a better player and it would have given actually Team Liquid a chance to win C9 a chance to win the league, whereas I actually don't think that they will be able to beat Team Liquid, unfortunately. And crucially, on the international level, I personally think Nisqy won't be as good. My problem with Nisqy is this. I'll give you the contrast to what I said earlier. I put him in the group with Power of Evil. Like, he's an above average player. At times when it's the right meta and the right team, I think he'll look like one of the best mids. But I do not think put it this way, I don't think these two players will probably go and they won't be Hall of Fame type players. Like, you know, when you think of like Europe has them all, but you know, like the Expecke, Alex H, you go through those names. Yeah, Bjergsen's on that. Jensen. If you go through that list, Power of Evil doesn't make the cut, I'm afraid. Like, he's a good player. At the moment, him and Febiven at the moment are the ones who are just on the outside looking in for me. And I think Nisqy will end up being like that. Like, I have to say, I'm not even going to hate on you. I think part of the reason he's looking like MVP is he plays in NA. I've always said the player I really wanted to go to NA always was Nukedoc. Because I always thought if you sent Nukedoc and you just gave him a good jungler, I think he would just tear the whole fucking LCS up. I think he'd destroy it completely.
So, I'll touch on like I guess not talking when we're losing. Like, of course, when I was a pro and a coach, like when we lost, like the worst thing to do is go on Twitter and go on Reddit. So most of the time I stay silent or said GG or like props to the enemy team. But like when we're having these like shows and I feel like I'm wrong, like I'll openly admit I'm wrong. Like I do think like, what is it? TSM wasn't that great this split. I do talk about like Bjergsen not being great that split.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay,
but you get mad if people make fun of you because of it. Like you act as though like, mate. When someone talk like, listen. By the way, I'm obviously the same with Froggen, so I'm not even going to deny that. But when some people talk about Bjergsen, you'd think they were talking about your fucking brother. And they were like, you're like, how dare you? He's my brother. And so, oh wait, no, he's just a fucking player I sort of knew about 3 years ago. I know you're going to say now he's a close personal friend. Mate, you know what? I'll give you a little secret about I'll give you a secret right now, by the way. When you have 100 close personal friends, you don't have any close personal friends, you dumb motherfucker. Like, there's a reason why
you're not a close personal friend, motherfucker.
I'm not in any way, mate. I'm just someone carrying your bitch ass, giving you free revenue on your channel, now booking the guests for you as well. What do? Turn up with a baseball cap and just laugh. Brilliant, yeah.
Duncan, you are a close personal friend.